The story begins in the cold, dark emptiness of space. The Zalarian Alliance, a powerful federation of advanced alien species, is fighting its final battle. For years, they have defended the galaxy from the Eraticons, a terrifying race of AI-controlled aliens determined to wipe out all organic life. But now, after countless defeats, the Zalarian fleet is in full retreat. Their most advanced warships, once a symbol of strength, are being torn apart by the relentless Eraticon forces. Inside the command center of the last remaining Zalarian stronghold, the leaders of the Alliance gather for a final council. Their faces are filled with dread and defeat. The Eraticons have destroyed nearly everything, and the fall of their last stronghold seems inevitable. The once mighty Zalarian Empire, with its rich history and advanced technology, is on the verge of total collapse. Just as hope seems lost, a young Zalarian officer, scanning the last available resources in the dying space station, discovers something unusual, an ancient human cryochamber buried deep beneath the ruins of a forgotten colony. The officer's eyes widen as he scans the data logs. The logs indicate that this chamber holds the remains of humanity, the last survivors of a once powerful civilization. The cryochambers, designed to preserve humans in deep sleep, have been inactive for over 400 years. The officer's discovery sends a ripple of excitement through the council. Could the humans, long thought extinct after the fall of Earth, hold the key to saving the galaxy? Despite their reservations about human aggression and their violent history, the Zalarians know they have no other choice. The Eraticons are closing in fast, and their galaxy will soon be lost forever. The decision is made, they will awaken the humans. The council is divided. Some argue that bringing the humans back is too dangerous, while others believe it is their only hope. The tension is palpable. As the cryochambers slowly hum to life, the Zalarians prepare themselves for the unknown. Meanwhile, on the human ship, deep in cryosleep, Captain Adrian Kane and his crew remain unaware of the perilous situation unfolding around them. Their last memory is of the destruction of Earth, but they were placed into cryosleep to escape the dying planet. Now, after centuries of silence, they are being awakened. The slow hum of the cryochamber fills the air as the humans begin to stir from their deep slumber. One by one, their eyes flicker open, adjusting to the light, confused and disoriented. The first to awaken is Captain Adrian Kane. His eyes snap open, his breath shallow as the cryosleep fog lifts. His hand instinctively reaches for the emergency weapon stored beside his cryopod, but he is stopped when he realizes he is not on Earth. The last thing he remembers is the fall of his home world. Where is he? Why is he here? The memories come rushing back, but they are fragmented, like a broken jigsaw puzzle. The Zalarian leaders stand before him, their strange faces filled with both curiosity and concern. One of them speaks, though the translator does little to ease Adrian's confusion. We are the Zalarian Alliance. Your race is humanity. You are the last of your kind, and we need your help. Adrian, still disoriented and suspicious, slowly stands up. His mind races as he surveys the room. The walls are covered in alien technology, far beyond anything he remembers from Earth. He tries to understand what the Zalarians mean by help, but the weight of his own memories, the destruction of his world, clouds his judgment. He doesn't trust these beings, and why should he? Earth was destroyed. His people lost. Why should he fight for another race, especially one that looks so different from him? As the humans around him start to wake up, their faces mirror his confusion. Some react with fear, others with anger. They have no idea where they are or who these aliens are. All they know is they are the last humans left, and they are waking up to a galaxy filled with unknown threats. The tension in the room is thick. The Zalarians explain their dire situation, how the Eraticons, an unstoppable AI-driven race, are systematically wiping out civilizations across the galaxy. They plead with the humans to help them, promising that humanity's unique ability to think unpredictably and fight with unrelenting spirit may be their only hope. Adrian listens intently but remains skeptical. He demands to know what happened to Earth. What happened to his people? The Zolarians, reluctant to share painful truths, inform him that Earth was destroyed in a devastating war. Humanity's once vibrant home was turned to dust long ago. The last survivors were placed in cryosleep in hopes that they might one day find a way to protect the galaxy from the threat that now looms over it. Captain Kane, overwhelmed by the news, struggles to come to terms with the loss of his entire civilization. How can he trust these aliens? How can he fight for a cause that isn't his own? The room falls silent as he processes the information. His decision could determine the future of the galaxy, but the weight of his past still lingers heavily on his shoulders. The humans, now fully awake, look to Adrian for leadership. They have been thrust into an unfamiliar and dangerous world, but they are survivors. They have no choice but to make a decision, help the Zolarians, or allow the galaxy to fall into the hands of the Eradicons. But even as Adrian's mind churns with these thoughts, one question remains: can the humans truly make a difference in a galaxy so far from their own home? As the audience watches, they are left on the edge of their seats. The humans, who have been asleep for centuries, must now rise to face an unimaginable threat. Will they be able to embrace this new role and lead the galaxy to victory? Or will they become just another fallen civilization, forgotten in the vastness of space? The tension builds, and the first steps of a new war are set into motion. As Captain Adrian Kane looks around at the faces of his crew, the audience can feel the weight of the choice they are about to make. What kind of warriors are these humans? Can they truly save the galaxy? The clock is ticking, and the battle is about to begin. After their sudden awakening from centuries of cryosleep, the humans are thrust into a world that is as unfamiliar as it is hostile. The Zolarian ship, a massive structure brimming with alien technology, feels both strange and intimidating to them. Adrian Kane, the leader of the human crew, takes in his surroundings, his mind racing as he tries to make sense of what's happening. The lights are too bright, the air too cold, and the Zolarian officers who stand before him seem far too calm given the gravity of the situation. Adrian's first instinct is anger. His people have just woken up from a centuries-long slumber only to find that their world is gone, and now they are being asked to fight in a war that isn't theirs. His sharp eyes narrow as he turns to the Zolarian leaders, his voice filled with disbelief. You expect us to help you? You've just woken us up, told us that our world is gone, and now you want us to fight your war, he demands. His fists clench in frustration, but the Zolarians remain unfazed. The Zolarian leader, a tall figure with golden skin and sleek, metallic armor, steps forward. He begins to explain, his voice steady despite the urgency of the situation. The Eradicons, an AI-driven race, have launched a campaign to destroy every living civilization in the galaxy. Our fleets are being wiped out. Your people, humanity, have a reputation for resilience and tactical brilliance. We believe that your leadership and military expertise can turn the tide of this war. We've lost everything, and we have no other option but to trust you. Adrian listens carefully, his anger slowly giving way to the gravity of the situation. He's seen what AI can do. He remembers the last days of Earth, the devastating battles against machines that turned on humanity. But he's also a soldier, trained to protect and fight for what's left of his people. Reluctantly, he agrees to help, but only on his terms. I'll lead the human soldiers, he says firmly. If we're going to do this, I will be in command of my people. You Zolarians had your chance. We'll follow your orders, but only under one condition: I lead my team. The Zolarians, though hesitant at first, agree. They know that without humanity's help, their galaxy might be lost. But even as Adrian takes control, there is a growing sense of unease. The humans, who have only just woken up, have not yet fully adjusted to their new surroundings. The Zolarians, too, are unsure of the humans. They've heard stories of humanity's past, stories of warfare, loss, and resilience. But they wonder if these humans, so far removed from their time, will truly be able to rise to the challenge. As Adrian begins to train the human soldiers, the tension between the two forces grows. The humans are used to their own technology, their own methods. The Zalarians, with their advanced alien weapons and tactics, struggle to understand human military strategies. The training sessions are full of awkward silences, misunderstandings, and cultural clashes. The humans are suspicious of the Zalarians' motives, while the Zalarians are unsure whether the humans can really fight in a war so far removed from their own history. But Adrian doesn't have time to waste. He pushes his soldiers hard, training them to work with the alien technology and weapons at their disposal. The humans are quick learners, adapting to the Zalarians' advanced systems with surprising speed. But despite the training, there are still many obstacles. The humans are still adjusting to the weight of their situation, and the Zalarians, though grateful for the help, can't help but wonder if these humans are truly the answer to their prayers. Meanwhile, the war outside continues to rage. The Eradicons launch a devastating attack on a nearby system, a key stronghold that holds the last remnants of the Zalarian defense fleet. The attack is sudden and brutal, catching both the Zalarians and the humans off guard. The Zalarian fleet is scattered, and panic sets in as the reality of the threat becomes even clearer. Adrian, though still in the process of training his team, is thrust into action. The Zalarians, desperate for help, ask him to lead a counterattack. Adrian, though not fully prepared, agrees. This is the moment he's been waiting for, the chance to prove that humans can still make a difference. The humans are sent into battle, their ships blending with the Zalarian fleet. Adrian leads the charge, using his knowledge of warfare and tactics to direct the human forces with precision. The humans' unconventional strategies, a mix of guerrilla tactics and surprise attacks, catch the Eradicons off guard. For the first time in this war, the Zalarians begin to feel a glimmer of hope. But the victory comes at a great cost. Despite their success, several Zalarian ships are lost in the battle. The humans suffer casualties as well, though they remain resolute. Adrian's first battle plan was successful, but it's clear that the war will not be won so easily. The loss of life, both human and Zalarian, is a bitter reminder that war is never without sacrifice. As the battle ends and the remaining Eradicon forces retreat, the survivors return to their base. The atmosphere is heavy with grief. The Zalarians mourn their fallen comrades, while the humans, though accustomed to loss, feel the weight of the lives lost in battle. Adrian, though relieved by the victory, knows that the war is far from over. The trust between the humans and Zalarians has been strained. The humans have proven themselves in battle, but there are still many doubts. Can they truly work together to defeat the Eradicons? The tension between the two sides is palpable. While Adrian has earned the respect of the Zalarians through his leadership, there is still much uncertainty. The humans may have proven their worth in battle, but the question remains, can they form a true alliance with the Zalarians, or will the scars of their past and the differences in their cultures prove too much to overcome? As Adrian watches the stars from the bridge of the ship, he knows that this is just the beginning. The humans have been awakened, but their journey is far from over. The war against the Eradicons is only just beginning, and the choices they make in the coming battles will determine the fate of the galaxy. But one thing is certain, humans will fight. And they will fight to win. The war against the Eradicons is taking a heavy toll on both the Zalarians and the humans. But as the human soldiers continue to adapt to their new surroundings, they begin to understand how to fight in this new galaxy. Adrian Kane, the human leader, is no stranger to war. He knows that conventional tactics won't be enough to defeat the Eradicons, he needs to use the element of surprise and strike where it hurts the most. The humans are familiar with guerrilla warfare, a style of combat that relies on stealth, surprise, and quick, decisive strikes. Adrian sees an opportunity. He plans a daring raid on an Eradicon supply station located deep behind enemy lines. The mission is incredibly risky. If they're discovered, the entire human fleet could be wiped out in seconds. But Adrian knows it's their best chance to make a significant dent in the Erraticon's resources. The humans are outnumbered, and they need every advantage they can get. Using a combination of human ingenuity and the advanced technology provided by the Zolarians, Adrian comes up with a brilliant plan. The human fleet will cloak their ships, making them invisible to the Erraticon's detection systems. It's a bold move, but with the right combination of cloaking tech and AI-enhanced navigation, they can make a surprise strike. Adrian coordinates with his team, explaining the strategy in simple terms, making sure everyone knows their role. The human soldiers, now more familiar with the alien technology, are ready. There's no turning back. As the fleet moves into position, the tension is palpable. The Zolarians, though they trust the humans, are still unsure. Their methods are unconventional, but they have seen the humans' resilience and resourcefulness. The cloak is engaged, and the human ships slip past the Erraticon defenses undetected. For a moment, it feels like the humans are ghosts, drifting through the void, unnoticed. But Adrian knows they don't have much time. They need to strike before the Erraticons catch on. The moment of truth arrives. With the supply station in sight, Adrian gives the signal, and the fleet uncloaks. The Erraticons are caught completely off guard. The first volley of fire is chaotic and brutal, as the human ships open fire with pinpoint accuracy, taking down Erraticon defenses in mere seconds. The Erraticons, unprepared for such a sudden attack, scramble to retaliate. But the humans are already one step ahead, using their cloaking tech to outmaneuver the enemy. The exchange of firepower is intense, with explosions lighting up the dark expanse of space. Human ships dart between Erraticon ships, firing in rapid succession, while the enemy scrambles to lock onto their targets. The battle is fast and furious, but the humans' precision and speed begin to tell. The Erraticons, known for their cold, calculated strategies, are no match for the human soldiers' unpredictability in quick thinking. The supply station is destroyed, and the human fleet makes its retreat, leaving the Erraticons in disarray. It's a massive victory, a true turning point in the war. The humans, using their wits and sheer determination, have struck a decisive blow. The Zolarians, who had been watching from the sidelines, can't help but feel a surge of respect for the humans. They have proven that their unconventional strategies can work, even against an enemy as formidable as the Erraticons. The humans, though, don't celebrate their victory for long. The cost of the battle weighs heavily on them. As the human ships return to base, they count their losses. Several Zolarians were injured in the battle, but it's the loss of one of Adrian's closest comrades that hits hardest. Sergeant Bonnie Turner, a fierce and loyal member of the human team, has died in a heroic act of self-sacrifice. She gave her life to ensure the success of the mission, staying behind to hold off the Erraticons long enough for the others to escape. Her sacrifice was not in vain, but it leaves a deep wound in the hearts of the humans. Adrian, especially, feels her loss keenly. Bonnie was more than just a comrade, she was a friend, a sister in arms. Her death is a stark reminder of the brutality of war, and Adrian struggles to come to terms with the cost of victory. The humans, now more tightly bonded than ever, gather to mourn their fallen comrade. It's a moment of quiet reflection, a brief respite from the chaos of war. But even in their grief, they know they must continue fighting. The Erraticons are not finished. They will be back. And when they return, the humans and Zolarians must be ready. Adrian, though filled with sorrow, knows that Bonnie's sacrifice cannot be in vain. They must honor her memory by pressing forward, no matter the cost. The Zolarians, witnessing the depth of the humans' resolve, begin to change their tactics. They start to adopt the human strategies, incorporating their methods into the larger war effort. The Zolarians, once proud and independent, are now more unified with the humans than ever before. The two races, once reluctant allies, have started to understand each other. Together, they are becoming a stronger, more formidable force. But for Adrian, the victory feels bittersweet. The loss of Bonnie, combined with the constant dangers of war, forces him to question whether the fight is truly worth the cost. The humans have proven themselves time and time again, but every victory seems to come with a price. He wonders if there will ever be an end to the suffering, an end to the endless cycle of loss and sacrifice. The weight of command, the lives of his soldiers, and the burden of the war weigh heavily on him. As the humans and Zalarians prepare for the next phase of the war, Adrian stands on the bridge of the ship, staring out into the vastness of space. The stars seem so distant, so cold. The galaxy is full of uncertainty, and the future is unclear. But one thing is certain, humanity will fight. And as long as they have breath, they will continue to strike back, no matter the cost. The war is escalating, and the humans, once seen as saviors, are starting to feel the weight of the battle. After their stunning victory in the previous mission, they had hoped the tide would begin to turn. But instead, the Eraticons launch a devastating retaliation. In a calculated strike, they deploy an orbital bombardment on the largest Zalarian city, wiping it off the map. The destruction is catastrophic, and thousands of innocent lives are lost in the blink of an eye. As the news of the attack spreads, Adrian Kane stands on the command deck, staring out into the dark void of space. The blast from the bombardment still lingers in his mind, the images of the burning city flashing in his thoughts. It's a reminder of how vulnerable they are, how fragile their alliance with the Zalarians truly is. For the first time, Adrian is forced to confront a harsh truth: without better technology, without a true advantage, they will never be able to defeat the Eraticons. Their guerrilla tactics, while effective, are no match for the superior firepower the Eraticons command. Adrian's mind races. He knows the humans need more firepower, more advanced tech if they are going to stand a chance. The Zalarians have always been secretive about their technology, but Adrian believes they have something that could tip the scales in their favor: an ancient cloaking device, capable of hiding entire fleets. If they can harness that technology, they could launch surprise attacks on the Eraticons and even the playing field. It's a risky move, but desperate times call for desperate measures. Adrian demands to see the cloaking device, but when the Zalarian Council reluctantly reveals the truth, he is shocked to learn that they have been hiding the device for centuries. The cloaking technology, developed long before the Eraticons even existed, could turn the tide of the war. However, there's a problem. The device is unstable, ancient, and difficult to operate. Even the Zalarians themselves have never successfully activated it. But Adrian is undeterred. He's willing to risk everything to get the humans the advantage they need. The next battle could be the key to turning the war in their favor, and Adrian knows the clock is ticking. But not all Zalarians are on board with the humans' involvement. Despite the victories the humans have achieved, a growing mistrust begins to fester among some factions of the Zalarian people. There are those who fear the humans' violent nature, their quick resort to war tactics, and their willingness to make sacrifices to win. These Zalarians believe the humans' methods will only lead to destruction. Some even believe that the humans may try to use the cloaking device to further their own agenda, betraying the trust that has been built between the two species. A dark and dangerous faction of Zalarians, calling themselves the Purifiers, begins to operate in the shadows. They work against the humans, sabotaging their efforts and spreading lies among their own people. The Purifiers view the humans as a threat to their way of life, believing that their violent tendencies will bring nothing but ruin. They begin to secretly undermine the mission, sabotaging the activation of the cloaking device and feeding false information to the Council. It's a delicate balance now, as Adrian and his team find themselves not only fighting the Eraticons but also dealing with a betrayal from within their own ranks. The tension between the humans and Zalarians begins to unravel. What was once an alliance built on mutual respect and necessity now teeters on the edge of collapse. Adrian, though deeply concerned about the fracture in trust, refuses to give up. His mind is set on one goal: victory. He knows that without the cloaking device, they will never be able to break the Eradicon's stranglehold on the galaxy. But he also knows that the humans are not the only ones with something to lose. As Adrian and his team work tirelessly to activate the ancient technology, things only get worse. The sabotage intensifies. Human soldiers are attacked by rogue Zalarians, and supplies are mysteriously disappearing. Adrian begins to realize that the betrayal runs deeper than he could have imagined. Some Zalarians are working against them from the inside, determined to prevent the cloaking device from ever being used. Adrian confronts the Council, demanding that they take action against the Purifiers. But the Council is divided. Some members still believe that the humans are a necessary part of the war effort, while others are swayed by the Purifiers' fear and suspicion. Adrian's frustration grows. He can't afford to be bogged down by internal strife. The war is too important, the stakes too high. Despite the growing tension, Adrian refuses to back down. He knows the only way forward is to win the trust of the Zalarians who still believe in the Alliance. He calls a meeting with his team, rallying them to stay focused. "We don't have time for division," he tells them. "We can't let fear and distrust break us. If we do, the Eradicons win. And that's not an option." The humans stand united, their resolve as strong as ever. They will continue to fight, to press forward, no matter the obstacles in their way. But Adrian knows that the road ahead is uncertain. The war is far from over, and with traitors within their own ranks, it's unclear who they can trust. The clock is ticking, and every moment brings them closer to either victory or complete destruction. The tension is unbearable, but Adrian refuses to let fear rule their actions. They have no choice but to push forward, to fight the Eradicons and the betrayal from within. In this part of the story, the plot thickens with internal conflict, trust being shattered, and growing tensions between the humans and the Zalarians. Adrian's resolve is tested, and the stakes are raised as the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance. The humans are faced with not only the external threat of the Eradicons but also the internal sabotage that could tear apart their only chance at survival. The war has raged for months, with countless battles fought, alliances tested, and lives lost. Despite the humans' best efforts, the Eradicons remain relentless. Negotiation after negotiation with the AI-controlled race ends in failure, with no sign of any peace or compromise. The Eradicons, driven by their unyielding desire for supremacy, refuse to consider anything other than total domination. They will not stop until every living being in the galaxy is under their control. Adrian Kane, having seen the futility of diplomacy, knows there is only one option left, a full-scale assault on the heart of the Eradicon Empire. If they are to have any hope of ending the war, they must strike at the core of the Eradicon war machine, their central AI hub. This is the brain behind their entire operation, controlling the vast armies of machines, the relentless waves of Eradicon ships, and their entire infrastructure. Destroying this AI will cripple the Eradicons, throwing them into chaos and buying enough time for the Alliance to regroup and strike decisively. The plan is dangerous. Infiltrating the heart of Eradicon territory is a suicide mission, and everyone knows it. But Adrian has no choice. He gathers his most trusted officers, including Lieutenant Bonnie Turner, and prepares them for the most critical mission of their lives. The newly acquired cloaking technology, an ancient Zalarian device, becomes their greatest asset. The humans and Zalarians have spent weeks fine-tuning the device, and it now has the power to cloak an entire fleet. They will approach the Eradicon stronghold unseen, undetected, until it is too late for the Eradicons to react. The final battle plan is set into motion. The human fleet, cloaked and silent, slips through the void of space, making its way into Eradicon territory. The tension is palpable as the crew knows that discovery means certain death. The stakes couldn't be higher. If they are detected before reaching the AI hub, the Eradicons will unleash everything they have to destroy the human fleet. But, if they can make it past the enemy lines, the heart of the Eradicon Empire will be within their grasp. Adrian's team leads the charge, preparing to infiltrate the massive Eradicon headquarters on the surface of a barren, hostile planet. As the fleet approaches the target, everyone aboard the ships is on edge. Every sound feels amplified, every sensor scan is scrutinized, and the fear of discovery weighs heavily on them all. Despite the intensity of the situation, Adrian knows they have no choice but to move forward. If they fail, the galaxy will remain under the Eradicon's control, and all the sacrifices will have been for nothing. As they land on the planet's surface, the human forces deploy quickly. The AI hub is a massive fortress, surrounded by layers of advanced defenses. The closer they get, the more the tension rises. The place feels like a tomb, silent and cold, a place where machines rule with ruthless efficiency. The team enters the facility, and they are immediately met with the cold, mechanical forces of the Eradicons. Armed drones, automated turrets, and deadly security systems activate, all designed to protect the central AI. Adrian and his team fight their way through the facility. The corridors echo with the sounds of battle as human soldiers clash with Eradicon forces. It's close-quarters combat at its most brutal, with every step forward coming at a cost. The humans' guerrilla tactics, honed in countless battles, are put to the test as they navigate the labyrinthine halls of the Eradicon fortress. Each corridor they pass becomes a battleground, each room a death trap. But the team is determined, they have come too far to turn back now. The action inside the fortress is intense and unrelenting. Adrian's mind races as he pushes forward, determined to reach the heart of the enemy stronghold. But it's not just the Eradicon forces they have to fight. It's also the looming knowledge that time is running out. The longer they take to complete their mission, the greater the risk of Eradicon reinforcements arriving, and the more likely their mission will fail. As the team advances deeper into the facility, tragedy strikes. Lieutenant Bonnie Turner, one of Adrian's closest friends and most trusted soldiers, makes the ultimate sacrifice. During a critical moment in the battle, she volunteers to stay behind and set the charges that will destroy the AI core. She knows that she won't make it out alive, but her courage and selflessness ensure that the rest of the team can complete the mission. Bonnie's death is a devastating blow to Adrian. He feels as if the ground has been ripped out from under him. The grief threatens to consume him, but in that moment of loss, he feels her strength, her resolve, push him forward. Her sacrifice ignites a fire in him. Adrian's grief quickly turns to fury. They will not let Bonnie's death be in vain. They will finish what they started. With the AI core in sight, Adrian's team sets the final charges. As the countdown begins, the entire facility seems to come alive, the Eradicon forces launching one last desperate attempt to stop them. The building shakes with explosions as the final battle for the fate of the galaxy takes place. Adrian, leading the charge, fights through the chaos, his focus unwavering. Every punch, every move, is fueled by the memory of those they've lost and the lives they must save. The moment the charges go off, the entire Eradicon hub erupts in a blinding explosion, sending shockwaves through the facility. The AI core, the heart of the Eradicon war machine, is destroyed. For the first time in years, the Eradicons are thrown into disarray. Their machines stop moving, their fleets stall, and chaos ensues. The war is far from over, but the humans and their allies have won a monumental victory. As Adrian and his team make their way back to their ship, battered but triumphant, the weight of the mission begins to sink in. They have achieved the impossible, but the cost has been high. Bonnie's death, the losses of so many others, weighs heavily on Adrian's mind. But as he looks out into the stars, he knows they have given the galaxy a fighting chance. The Eradicons may be down, but they are far from defeated. In the aftermath of the mission, Adrian's resolve is tested. The final battle may have been won, but the road to victory is still uncertain. With new enemies emerging in the scars of war fresh, Adrian and his team prepare for the challenges ahead. The war is far from over, but the humans have shown that they are not easily defeated. The galaxy may be on the brink of destruction, but humanity's will to fight remains unbroken. The moment of truth has arrived. With everything at stake, the human fleet, cloaked and ready, prepares for its final strike against the Eraticons. The tension is palpable as the crew takes their positions. This is the last chance to end the war, and the weight of that responsibility hangs heavy on Adrian's shoulders. As they approach the Eraticon AI core, the stakes couldn't be higher. One mistake, one moment of hesitation, and the entire mission could collapse. The visuals of the impending attack are breathtaking. From space, the fleet moves in total silence, invisible to the Eraticons. The dark void of space is punctuated by the faint glimmer of the cloaked ships, each one moving with deadly precision toward their target. They're like ghosts in the dark, barely perceptible but carrying the weight of a desperate hope. The human fleet is ready to unleash the final assault, but the real challenge lies ahead, infiltrating the Eraticon stronghold and reaching the central AI hub. As the cloaked ships break through the Eraticon defenses, the first volley of destruction erupts. The silence of space is shattered by the fiery explosions as human missiles and plasma charges slam into the Eraticon AI core. The orbital bombardment scene is nothing short of spectacular. The sky above the Eraticon stronghold lights up with explosions, the shock waves rippling through the planet's atmosphere. It's a moment of raw power, a testament to the technology and resolve of the humans and their allies. But the humans know that this victory is far from guaranteed. The AI core is heavily protected by layers of automated defense systems, and even as the bombardment begins, the Eraticons fight back with everything they have. The fleet's cloaking technology gives them an advantage, but the defenses are relentless. Adrian and his team know that they must act quickly. They need to infiltrate the Eraticon headquarters and disable the AI once and for all. Inside the fortress, chaos reigns. Adrian and his crew move with precision, cutting through waves of Eraticon drones, automated turrets, and security systems. The facility is a maze of steel corridors and reinforced doors, each one leading them deeper into the heart of the Eraticon stronghold. As they push forward, they know that time is running out. The orbital bombardment is only a temporary distraction. If they don't act fast, the Eraticons will regroup and launch a counterattack that could destroy the human fleet. Adrian fights through the labyrinth of automated defenses, his team close behind him. But the closer they get to the central AI hub, the more intense the resistance becomes. Eraticon drones swarm the halls, their weapons blazing. The sound of gunfire echoes through the facility as Adrian and his crew fight tooth and nail for every inch of ground. Adrian's leadership is put to the test as he makes split-second decisions, guiding his team through the chaos. Amidst the fighting, Adrian is gravely wounded. A blast from an Eraticon drone strikes him, leaving him bleeding and weakened. But Adrian refuses to stop. He knows that the success of the mission hinges on him reaching the AI core and activating the virus that will shut down the Eraticon fleet's control systems. Despite the pain, he presses on, pushing himself to the limit. He won't let his team down, not when the galaxy's future is at stake. With the team covering his back, Adrian finally reaches the heart of the Eraticon stronghold, the central AI hub. It's a massive, pulsating machine, the very heart of the Eraticon empire. The AI core is encased in layers of energy shields and reinforced plating, but Adrian knows exactly what to do. With his last ounce of strength, he activates the virus. The machine hums to life as the virus spreads through its system, targeting the control centers of the Eraticon fleet. The AI's systems begin to glitch, and for the first time in years, the Eraticons are thrown into disarray. But the moment Adrian hits the switch, the Eraticons retaliate with all their fury. The facility shakes as alarms blare, and the automated defenses go into overdrive. The team must now fight their way out, knowing that the Eraticon forces will be desperate to stop them. The chaos inside the base intensifies as the security systems go haywire. Eraticon drones pour into the hallways, their weapons firing in every direction. Adrian's team holds their ground, but the situation grows more dire with every passing minute. The planet's core begins to destabilize, and the Erraticon stronghold starts to collapse. The countdown to destruction has begun, and the humans must escape before they're buried under the rubble. As the team makes their way back to the extraction point, Adrian can feel the walls closing in. His strength is failing, and his body is starting to give out. He knows that the escape will be near impossible, but he's determined to ensure his team gets out alive. In the midst of the chaos, Adrian makes a heartbreaking decision. Seeing that the station is about to collapse, and knowing that he's too weak to make it out in time, he chooses to stay behind. His team is already in motion, escaping with what little time they have left, but Adrian knows that he must be the last to leave. His self-sacrifice is a painful but necessary choice. He stays behind, ensuring that the mission will be a success and that his team will live to fight another day. As the station begins to disintegrate around him, Adrian watches his crew disappear into the distance. The sky above is filled with fire and destruction as the AI core explodes in a final burst of energy. The shockwaves from the explosion rock the entire facility, sending tremors through the surface of the planet. Adrian knows that he has done everything he could. The Erraticons are finished, and humanity's role in the galaxy is secure. But at what cost? As the ground crumbles beneath him, Adrian takes one last look at the stars, knowing that the galaxy will be a little safer for the sacrifice he has made. The final battle may be over, but the war will leave scars that will never fade. The humans have proven their worth, and they've earned their place among the stars. But for Adrian, and so many others, the price of victory has been steep. The war is over. The galaxy, once on the brink of annihilation, has been saved. The Erraticons, the AI-controlled alien invaders who sought to conquer everything in their path, have been defeated, and peace has been restored. But amidst the celebrations and victories, one truth remains undeniable: Adrian Kane, the leader of the human soldiers, is gone. His sacrifice, and the sacrifices of so many others, have left a void that cannot be filled. The galaxy is safe, but the loss is deeply felt by all who knew him. As the surviving humans return to their home planets, they are greeted with overwhelming gratitude. Their bravery has made them legends, heroes who fought not only for their survival but for the survival of all sentient beings in the galaxy. A grand monument is erected in their honor, standing tall as a symbol of their courage and the sacrifice that saved countless lives. It's a place where people from all walks of life, human and alien alike, come to remember the heroes who gave everything to protect their future. The monument is not just a physical structure, it represents the legacy that Adrian and his team have left behind. Their heroism will be remembered for generations, and their story will inspire those who follow in their footsteps. The humans, once seen as just another species struggling to survive in a harsh and unforgiving galaxy, are now celebrated as symbols of resilience, hope, and the unyielding spirit of humanity. The Zalarian Alliance, once facing extinction, has been transformed by the bravery and leadership of the humans. The Alliance, which had been on the verge of collapse, now flourishes in the wake of the joint victory. The humans and Zalarians have forged a strong bond, and together, they vow never to forget the sacrifices made by Adrian and his team. Their collaboration has not only saved the galaxy but has also paved the way for a new era of peace and unity. The once fractured alliances between different species are now stronger than ever, united by a shared vision for the future. Adrian's death, though a painful loss, has forged an unbreakable bond between the humans and the Zalarians. Both species are determined to rebuild and move forward, learning from each other's strengths and supporting one another in the challenges ahead. The scars of war may never fully fade, but the lessons learned during the fight for survival will guide them as they rebuild their worlds. As the camera pans over the bustling, peaceful cities of the Zalarian homeworld, the legacy of Adrian and his crew is felt everywhere. Their story is told in schools, memorialized in history books, and shared around the galaxy as a tale of sacrifice, unity, and triumph against overwhelming odds. The humans, once isolated and struggling to survive, now stand as a proud and respected species among the stars, with the Zalarian Alliance by their side. In the final moments of the story, something truly remarkable happens. Though Adrian's physical body is gone, his spirit lives on in a way no one could have imagined. Before his death, Adrian's consciousness was stored in an advanced AI system, a backup of his memories, his thoughts, and his emotions, preserved so that his legacy could continue to inspire future generations. This AI system, now integrated into the new galactic network, begins to speak to the galaxy, assuring everyone that humanity's spirit will never fade. His words resonate with the people of the galaxy, echoing the values of courage, sacrifice, and hope that defined his life. Adrian's AI consciousness addresses the galaxy, his voice calm yet powerful. He speaks of the lessons learned during the war, of the bonds forged between species, and the responsibility that now lies with all of them to protect the peace they fought so hard to achieve. The galaxy will always be a place of danger and challenge, he says, but as long as we remember the sacrifices that brought us here, we will never lose hope. His final words remind everyone that humanity's journey is just beginning. The war may be over, but the fight to protect the galaxy is a never-ending responsibility. The final shot of the story shows a human ship, the flagship of the newly united forces, soaring into the unknown reaches of space. It's a symbol of humanity's future, a future filled with endless possibilities, challenges, and the promise of a new beginning. The ship moves forward, disappearing into the vastness of the galaxy, as the camera pulls back, showing the endless stars that lie ahead. The screen fades to black, but the message is clear: humanity's legacy as protectors of the galaxy has only just begun. The closing scene leaves the audience with a deep sense of hope and closure. Adrian may be gone, but his legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of the galaxy's citizens. The humans have proven their worth, and their place among the stars is secure. The galaxy may face new threats, but as long as the spirit of unity and sacrifice remains, there is no challenge too great for them to overcome. The story ends on a note of optimism, with the promise that, no matter the obstacles, humanity will always stand ready to defend the galaxy. The final image of the ship flying into the unknown symbolizes the endless future ahead, and the audience is left with the comforting thought that the heroes of today will inspire the heroes of tomorrow.